welcome to the reemergence, the genesis of the new era of Arrowhead allies. Welcome to football season 2025. Clint Schweitzer alongside Noah Grunhard here from Starcade Media, of course. And I'll tell you what, when you're rebuilding an army, when you're rebuilding the allies, you look to your family, you look to your blood, you look to the kingdom. And that's what we've done as Brian B. Shinen, pro wrestling style, returns like Triple H at Royal Rumble 2002. He's back in the house from Hot 103 Jams. And Melana Scantlin, former Chiefs cheerleader, former media personality for both the Chiefs and the New England Patriots, and many more things. When a talk is in the house right there, Melana Scantlin, welcome. And our guest this week, Tim Grunhard, Chiefs Hall of Famer. Tim, it's been a long off season. It's great to have you in, sir. Are we ready to dust off the Super Bowl loss and put our best foot forward here?
Here we go as we sit here on Labor Day, and the Kansas City Chiefs are getting ready to get on a plane to go on a 10 to 12-hour flight to São Paulo, Brazil. So, yeah, we're ready. I know you guys are ready. I'm ready. I hope they're ready.
Absolutely, Tim. And we've got to start this thing off with your position, at least on the offensive line. I know we lose Joe Tooney. We got Kingsley in there, kind of what you saw out of him, training camp preseason, and then Josh Simmons. Is he ready to go up week one? I know we like what we see, but he's got a big test in Khalil Mack. I know he's older. He's not the same Khalil Mack, but he's still a veteran, and he's savvy, and he could give Josh Simmons some problems.
No, absolutely. I have some notes just to talk about that, as we have two new guys on the left side of the offensive line with Josh Simmons and Kingsley Sumatia. They're in for, an awakening. I'm not saying that they're not ready to do it, but listen, when you play in a regular season football game, I've told the rookies when I was a veteran guy, and something that I learned when I was a young guy, that listen, the difference between summer training camp, the preseason, the regular season, and obviously the postseason is about a step on each one of those levels. So they are in for a rude awakening, because there's going to be all kinds of blitzes. There are going to be different looks. It's going to be faster. But I think they're ready for it. I think Josh Simmons has done a really good job in this preseason. I love his sets. I love the way his feet are. And listen, the dirty little secret is you pass block with your feet. So I think he's ready for guys like Khalil Mack. So it'll be interesting to see how he does. Kingsley Sumatia, listen, it's a big, big game for him. It's a little bit different than Josh Simmons. Josh Simmons is going in with the idea that, he's not quite sure how fast it's going to be, but I think he has the athleticism and the ability to make up for the surprise that's going to come on Friday night. But Kingsley Sumatia, on the other hand, needs to get his confidence back. And when you put him in at guard, he's going to have some bumpers on each side, which will take away some of the space that he struggles with. So I'm expecting him to have a pretty good game. One of the things he does great in run blocking. He'd fit perfectly on the offensive line when I was playing in the 90s, but unfortunately he plays now with Patrick Mahomes, so he better get those pass protection and those sets and all the blitz pickups and all that stuff kind of wired in as he goes into this game.
And just a little extra thing on Josh Simmons, something I noticed in the preseason, he's kind of leaning a little bit and grabbing. Do you think that's just a technique thing that he can get down as we kind of move forward here into week one and the rest of the season?
No, that's a great observation, and that's one of the things that I am concerned about with him is, listen, he's got great feet, but he carries his hands low on his pass set. If you watch him, he always has his hands kind of down by his waist, so he's got to take them up and then shoot them. And a lot of times when the defensive end or outside linebacker or whoever's coming up against you in a pass rush, when your hands are down low, you're right, you have to reach a little bit. When you reach, your head goes down. When your head goes down, your waist goes down. You turn into a waist bender. And he has struggled with some of those things. So Andy Heck and I'm sure that Nagy and Andy Reid said, listen, you got to carry your hands a little bit higher so you can get that good strike. He's got really nice feet, but his hands are always just a little bit off, and that's one of the things he's going to have to get better at as the season progresses.
Yeah, look, I am so glad that with the reformation of Arrowhead Allies that we have someone else that is an expert of the offensive line, especially Tim Grunhard, who, look, he can back me up on some of the points that I've been making for the past several years. Noah, you and I, we've had some spirited conversations, and Tim, he didn't know what was the 20th best offensive line from the first best offensive line. He actually kind of said, I'm paraphrasing, but he said that on the show. But I'll be damned. It damn sure showed in the Super Bowl what a bad offensive line could look like. But with all that being said, that's where my eyes are too. That left side of the offensive line, to me, they make or break the season. They play well. Patrick Mahomes is going to sit up well. I think he'll have an MVP season. They don't play well. We'll see a repeat of the Super Bowl on some weeks. But with that being said, Patrick Mahomes and the entire offense, the precision as a whole, the efficiency, that's what I'm going to be looking for against the Chargers. Because if you look at that game against the Bears, I think we all walked away from that last preseason game going, okay, that's what the offense is supposed to look like. We hadn't seen it run that efficient in a couple years in terms of the passing game, guys getting in and out of their routes, catching the ball, actually making big plays down the field. Patrick Mahomes, you saw a little bit of the magic Patrick with him getting up out of trouble. That was good blocking by the offensive line on that trade where Trey Smith pancaked the guy on the against the Bears in the last preseason game. But you saw Patrick Mahomes get mobile and make a play down the field with your receivers instead of relying on Justin Watson or Kadarius Toney or Lord, we got relieved of Sky Moore. So look, man, I'm looking for the efficiency of the offense, the return of the run game, which was severely lacking last year. Of course, Kareem Hunt, he came and did a decent job. He did what he can do, but that you could tell that offense was missing Pacheco very badly. So man, I'm just looking for efficiency from the offense coming up against these Chargers.
Yeah, so last year we all saw what happened. They gave up 36 sacks, which I think was 8 more than they've given up ever with Patrick Mahomes. And you can't live in that world. And one of the points emphasis in this offseason for the Kansas City Chiefs was to get the ball down the field, have some chunk plays, and throw the ball over the top. It's easier said than done when when your offensive line isn't playing well and guys are in his face and he's throwing off his back foot and he's doesn't have the time to be able to get the ball down the field like he'd like to do. You talk about the Super Bowl. Listen, he was hit 11 times in the Super Bowl. I think it was 4 or 5 sacks. It was like every 6 or 7% of his dropbacks he was getting hit. So you can't live in that world. So that's something that I know they've talked about. Everybody, to a man, has said this, and the Chiefs have got to throw the ball down the field. They got to get some receivers, and they have Worthy now. Hollywood Brown, Rashid Rice will be back after 6 games. They have some speed, but it all comes down to giving this guy some time in the pocket to throw the ball on time with off his front foot with the speed and accuracy that we know he can do. But you can't do that if you're being chased around in the pocket. So this offensive line certainly needs to step up this season. Let's start in San Pablo against the Chargers.
Are you concerned at all with that flight going down there? I know you said you talked to Josh Simmons about possibly being crunched up in the plane. How do you think that's going to affect the game on Friday?
Yeah, there's always a concern. The longest flight you do in a regular season usually is, like for us, would be go to Seattle or down to Miami, which is about a 4 or 5 hour flight. Now you're doubling that. The good news is they're leaving a little bit early, so they'll be able to get down there and kind of get stretched out, get some treatment, and kind of get used to the conditions and kind of get their body right before the game starts. But the reality is it's a long flight. When you have any kind of aches and pains, bumps and bruises, the altitude will cause you to swell. A lot of guys will be sitting in those seats and their backs will get all tight. So it's always a concern. But the good news is that the Chargers, I know it's a little bit short of a flight, but they have a long flight too. So yeah, it'll certainly be something that they address, something that they've talked about and something that they'll prepare for, but it certainly is something that you have to be concerned with in the first game of the year going all the way down to San Pablo. And people are saying, well, it's winter down there and it's not going to be as hot. I'm not buying that. I think it's going to be hot and humid, and it's something they're going to have to deal with.
Hey, may I jump in real quick, fellas? Tim, you were on the team in 1990 and in 95 or 96 when you went to Germany in 90 and then you went to Tokyo or China in 95 or 96. What was that experience like? How did Marty Schottenheimer prepare you guys for that?
Well, it's preseason games, so we weren't as concerned because it was just one of those things. Hey, we went out there, but we went to Tokyo. We went to Tokyo, Japan twice, and we went down there about 5 or 6 days early and practiced down there and kind of got our legs underneath us. And we went out to Berlin in 1990, where we practiced against the Rams. So, it's a preseason game, but yeah, I mean, I'll never forget. We got off the plane in Tokyo. And Marty got us on the bus and had us go and do a workout. So we ran some gassers, some sprints, and just some stretching and all that kind of stuff. And I'm telling you want to talk about guys that were punch drunk. It felt like you were running around and you couldn't feel your feet and you were like dizzy. But we kind of got through it. But yeah, you're right. Marty got us right on the field, right from the airport, went right on a bus and started to get some stretching and some running in.
I remember that flight in Tokyo, or going to Tokyo. I was on that flight as a cheerleader, and you get there and you're just exhausted. And I remember a lot of those guys having to get up on the flight and stretch their legs and just stay hydrated. It's crazy.
Yeah. And you guys were up in the top of the plane and the bubble part of it.
No, we were in the back.
Oh, I thought you guys were all in first class. Usually, the cheerleaders are treated so much better than the players. So, but nowadays I think they have their own locker room. You guys used to have to change in the meeting rooms back in the day.
We did. We changed in those meeting rooms. We did not have the luxury of our own locker room back then. But that's where the meet was. That's where it was exciting.
Are you saying that I've been watching the Netflix series on the Cowboy cheerleaders? They have a nice locker room. Did you guys have that kind of locker room?
Back in the 90s, Tim, things were a little different back then. There was no Super Bowl and there were no cheerleader dressing. Or we had our own dressing rooms, but they were in the meeting rooms. We didn't have a locker room at all.
No, you guys had it rough, but we did appreciate you guys. And I was telling somebody, and I know we're talking cheerleader stuff here, which I could dig it. I like it. So
we don't have to stay there.
But somebody said to me, I was talking to somebody. I said, we had guy cheerleaders in 1990. And they said, no, you didn't. I said, yes, we did. We had guy cheerleaders. Yep. They were called yell leaders or something. But yeah, those were the good old days when it was more acrobatics and more of that kind of stuff than it is now. Now they just got to do the dance routine. So you guys had it. You guys were a lot better back then. So.
Yeah, I tried out this year, Tim, but Melana cut me as she has done the last 5 years. We actually have a question here from the Facebook page, and I wanted to ask you about the AFC West. Pete Stonebreaker asked, is the AFC West improved enough to overtake the Chiefs? But the way I kind of want to look at this is all offseason in the media, we've heard nothing but this division. It's one of the best in football history. You've got Sean Payton, you've got Pete Carroll, you've got Jim Harbaugh, and the Super Bowl pedigree, the national championship winning pedigree. And so as you look at the division, Tim, how do you stack it up? And do you think that, people talk about how good it is, but last year the Chiefs won the division by 4 games. It could have been 5. And so what are we thinking about the division, as Pete Stonebreaker asked, is the AFC West improved enough to overtake the Chiefs? Or do we lose Tim? Sorry, I was rambling on and we lost
Tim there for a second.
I think something happened with the app because you lost me too. But I think something happened with the app.
He was trying to check that Cubs score on us, and something made it wrong there. He was very concerned about that. But we appreciate the questions. Keep them coming, guys. Gosh, and while Tim's trying to navigate his way back in, we have a female fan here that says, Melana, she's so pretty. Oh my God, glad she's here.
Thank you. You are so sweet. I appreciate that.
Wow.
Makeup goes a long way,
I think we might have got Tim back. So
I'm back. I don't know what happened.
Tim, you're back. And
that question was so hard. I just turned it off.
I was rambling on and on about the AFC West being improved. And Pete Stonebreaker wants to know, is that AFC West improved enough to overtake the Chiefs? We've seen it in the media all offseason, how good this division is. I believe it is better, but I also believe it's going to be hard for it to live up to the hype. The Chiefs won the division by 4 games last year, I believe, and it could have been 5 if they hadn't rested starters against the Broncos. So, simple question, is the AFC West improved enough to knock the Chiefs off the throne, 9 straight AFC West titles?
Yeah, that's a great question. Listen, the AFC West has been really proactive in the draft and with free agency to try to counteract what the Chiefs have done. So, listen, it's been 4, 5, 6 years of draft and free agency and new coaches and everybody kind of trying to make changes to catch up to the Chiefs. As long as you have Patrick Mahomes, I think you have a really, really good chance of winning the AFC West. I like Bo Nix. I think he's a nice quarterback. The Raiders are going to be a little bit improved. I think that their coaching situation is a little bit better. But this is the show me state, Missouri, and show me. I want to see somebody knock the Chiefs off. I think the Chiefs have a really good chance of winning the AFC West again. And I think the Chiefs have a really good chance of securing home field advantage again. But, the Bills and the Ravens, and I'm sure somebody else will creep up there. Listen, it's not going to be easy, and it never is easy, but the Chiefs seem to find a way. But, yeah, the AFC West is a lot better, but until somebody knocks the Kansas City Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes off the throne, off the top of the hill, I don't see it happening.
Yeah, and Tim, that kind of takes me to the defensive side of the ball for the Chiefs and how they can attack Trey Pipkins at right tackle. I know they moved Joe Alt over to left tackle with Rashawn Slater having that torn patellar tendon, the same injury that Josh Simmons is coming back from. So we wish him the best. But now it's Joe Alt at left tackle, Trey Pipkins at right tackle. Chris Jones may be lined out there. Obviously, we've got George Karlaftis over there lined up against Trey Pipkins. So how can they take advantage of that and get pressure on Justin Herbert?
Yeah, I think you show them all kinds of different looks. I think they're going to the Chiefs went with more of an athletic defensive line this year. If you look at it, Dana, Karlaftis, Omenihu, Chris Jones, Lott, and Gelati are all very athletic guys. I think you're going to see a lot more movement, a lot more we call stemming when the defensive line kind of slants. I think you're going to see more twists and more stunts. I think that this with the linebackers also that I think are very athletic with Tranquil, Bolton, and Chanel. You're going to see a very athletic and a very aggressive defense this year. I don't think you're going to see as much blitzing from maybe the corners and the safeties. I think you're going to see the front seven do most of the movement, most of the blitzes, most of the stunts, and I think that's a good thing. I really like, Dana is a very athletic guy, and he's going to get a chance to play a bunch now. Omenihu is a guy that I thought he had a pretty decent preseason. So he's a guy that can certainly cause issues. But when you look at a guy like Karlaftis, those are the guys you don't want to play against. I mean, he's not overly big. He's not overly fast, but the guy just plays 110% all the time. And when you're playing against a guy like that, you can't let up because the next thing you know, the quarterback is rolling out and you don't know it. And all of a sudden he's hitting your quarterback and getting a sack. So I'm looking for more athletic movements off the defensive line this year. And I would like to see these four guys get to the quarterback a little bit more and maybe not bring as much pressure and kind of take it a little bit easier on our secondary and play. They've been playing so much man and all those kind of things because of the blitzes they have to do. I would like to see the front four get to the quarterback on a more consistent basis.
Yeah, I'm totally with you, man. I cannot wait to see this D-line get after it, especially Chris Jones. I feel like after watching The Kingdom, and watching his interviews, I think he really thinks he has something to prove this year. Which, I mean, in reality, he really doesn't. I think he should be a first ballot Hall of Famer when it's all said and done, even to this point. But I'm looking for Chris Jones to come and have a monster year, man. Multiple sacks, like you said, inside pressure, outside pressure. We know that he can do it all. And with the defensive line being as aggressive and how good they are, I'm looking for Trent McDuffie to have a super monster season as well. It's a super contract year for him. I say super because they haven't came to terms to an agreement yet. And it's like, what are we doing? Do we really want to pay him double what he's worth? I mean, sure, whatever it is to keep him on the team, but it seems very Jerry Jones-ish to me, what we're doing with Trent McDuffie. I think we're playing with fire with him in terms of his contract. But, man, I look for him to have a big year, especially with the enhanced pressure that the defensive line can put on quarterbacks. And, look, if the Chiefs are up, the defense was playing with a lot of pressure last year because the games were so tight. So I think we've seen this defense come through in a number of situations. Hell, we've seen the special teams come through in a number of situations last year, with Leo Chanel playing on both of them with the blocked field goal against the Broncos. So I think that if this defense has a lead, you're going to see more sacks. You're going to see better play. And I think you're going to see more interceptions as well from McDuffie and those defensive backs, especially if the offense got it going with the passing game and they got a 10-point lead, a 17-point lead going into the fourth quarter. The defense hasn't been working with that for probably over 2 years now. So I think with all that said and done, this could be a top 5 defense.
Yeah, I'm with you with Trent McDuffie. I think he's a guy that they certainly got to find a way to sign and extend him. But and you look at this Kansas City Chiefs payroll. They got the highest paid defensive lineman. They got the highest paid center. They got one of the highest paid guards. They got the highest paid tight end. They got, Patrick Mahomes keeps, doling, money out to try to get other guys, but eventually they're going to have to pay him. With the salary cap and the way it is, it's not as easy as just saying, hey, listen, what do you want? Because they're going to have to find a way to get him signed. But yeah, no, listen, what happened is 3 or 4 years ago, they had some great drafts, and now all those guys, their rookie contracts are coming up, and now they're going to have to pay the piper. I do like the secondary. I think that Fulton's going to be a nice addition, and McDuffie and Hicks and Cook are very aggressive. I think they're good tacklers, and I think they're very, very intense guys. I like this defense, but, Spags does a great job of dialing it up. Spags does a great job of preparing this defense. I think he's one of the most underrated coaches. And, I said this a couple of years ago. If Andy Reid ever steps down, I know Spags is getting a little long in the tooth too. I'd love to see Spags as the next head coach of the Kansas City Chiefs. But the reality is that, they pay so many guys and they've done it. And, so eventually they're going to lose guys. And, they just paid Bolton too. So, guys are getting paid, and, you can't pay everybody. That's just the nature of the beast in the NFL with the salary cap, which I can appreciate because, I'm a big baseball fan, and you watch the Royals, and then you see the Royals going against the Dodgers, and the Dodgers are, paying guys $600, $700 million, and the Royals, are paying guys, $2 million. The best thing in the NFL is every team has the same amount of money they got to spend. Now they find ways of getting around that. But the reality is there's a salary cap. And guess what? In 2027, baseball will be on strike because they're going to try and get a salary cap. And those Major League Baseball players, they don't want any part of that. But to answer your question, I would love to see Trent McDuffie signed because I think that guy, not only in the slot, but at the corner, is one of the best defensive backs in the league.
Now we know Andy he's going to keep that seat until he passes Don Shula and pass it on to Matt Nagy.
Matt Nagy, talk to the people in Chicago about that one.
I think is amazing is I think Andy Reid and Spags would do these jobs for free. I think they do them for $100 a year. Their hearts are just there, and I think they're both such incredible individuals that I don't even think they think about the salary. I don't think they'd give it a second thought. I think they both do it for free.
Yeah, they're both certainly great competitive guys, and they work really well together. Nagy does too. I think this is a great staff, and they love working for Andy because listen, there hasn't been a lot of turnover. What happens when you go to the Super Bowl and win Super Bowls? You always lose coaches and coordinators. Chiefs don't do it. Wow. They stick around because they love being around Andy and being a part of the kingdom and working with the guys they're working with. It's a great situation for those coaches also.
Definitely starts at the top for sure.
Absolutely.
Well, we've reached that time. It is time for our final 4 questions. So we're going to hit you with some fun ones. It could be Chiefs or no Chiefs. I'm going to actually start with a very simple question for you, Tim, and there's a right and a wrong answer here, so tread lightly, please. I can say that because you're like all the way down in Florida and you can't wring my neck from there. Mizzou or KU on Saturday? The rivalry is back.
Oh, boy.
Oh, wow. You know what? Whatever I say, half the people are going to be pissed.
Exactly. So, that's why it's perfect.
Listen, I got to go with I got to go with KU. I'm tired of the SEC bull crap constantly. If I got to go out, turn on Netflix and watch any more SEC shows, I'd like to see. I think Coach Leipold's done an unbelievable job. I love Coach Drink. He's good. They're both great coaches. I'm going for KU because my son played there. I coached there. Now I coached there very, 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 for a couple of years, and it wasn't great. But the reality is I have a relationship with some of the guys there. So I'm going for KU. But you know what? I'm just glad that these two are playing each other again. I think it's great for college football. It's great for our region. And I love seeing the Big 12 and the SEC matchup. And when the Big 12 beats the SEC, I think people in our area are pretty fired up about that. So I'm going to go with KU.
Very rare and won't happen on Saturday. Okay, next.
Tim, Clint said you're down there in Florida. Just what's the most fun that you have down there in Florida? When you go down there, you stay down there for an extended period. What's the most fun thing you get to do down there?
Well, we don't do much. My wife and I come down here and we walk the beach, and I am an avid sea glass finder. So you guys know what sea glass is? So sea glass is just pieces of glass that have been worn down from the waves and the rocks and the shells. And when you find those pieces of sea glass, so we have a huge collection of sea glass. So it's a great day when we do a 2 or 3 or 4 mile walk and find a bunch of sea glass. So that's what happens when you retire, man. You know, that's all I got. I got sea glass and I don't drink anymore. So I don't know what else to do. You know, find shells and sea glass.
Cliff diving?
Yeah, no. We're in Florida. There's no cliffs here. Come on, this is flat. It's flatter than Kansas.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
I didn't know that. Okay, that makes sense.
It's a peninsula. It's all basically sea level. You drive across this state. You know, when you drive in the middle of Florida, it's like being in Arkansas. I mean, it is like farms and ranches and all kinds of stuff. Very, very flat. So, yeah, we don't do any cliff diving here because there's not many cliffs.
Brian, you want to take it?
Oh, my turn for a question. Okay, Tim Grunhard, what is your expectation of Creed Humphrey going into this season? He got paid. He's a leader of the offensive line. Is there any way that he can help Kingsley Suamataia make this transition from left tackle to left guard? Because again, I think is of the utmost importance for the success of this Chiefs team this year.
You guys bowlers? You guys ever been bowling?
I love it. I like bowling.
All right, so you didn't think this was going to come out of my mouth when you asked me a Creed Humphrey question. So Creed Humphrey and Josh Simmons are the bumpers on the lanes, right? So when you're bowling and you don't have those bumpers up, you're always afraid of throwing a gutter ball, so you don't throw it as hard. Now that Suamataia has moved into guard, he's got a couple good bumpers out there with Josh Simmons and Creed Humphrey. So he's got some room to be more aggressive. He's got some room to get help with his pass protection. So Creed Humphrey, 3 things he's going to do. Number 1 is be that bumper and help him out, get a little chip here and there before he leaves. Number 2 is a communication. Creed does a great job of communicating. And in the NFL, just like in any position, but especially on the offensive line, hesitation kills you. When do you hesitate? When you don't know what you're doing. So if your center communicates and you know what you're doing, then guess what? You're going to have a good chance of having success. And number 3, listen, this kid, he's gone through the fire. It takes a little fire to make steel. So hopefully he comes out a little bit stronger, a little bit better. And listen, is it going to be perfect, guys? No, it's not going to be perfect. Is he probably going to grade out lower than everybody else on the offensive line? Yes. But as the season progresses, I think you're going to see this big athletic kid do some good things. But it's going to be a process. He's not going to come out of the chute, looking like an all-pro like the guy next to him, and maybe the guy that's playing left tackle will eventually be. So, we got to give him a little bit of time. And guess what? They have Moore backing him up. I think Moore will be the backup for just about every position but center. And he's a good football player too. So if for some reason it doesn't all work out for him, we have an answer, which I don't think we really had. I like Caliendo. I think he's a nice player, but Moore is a heck of a football player. And I think he's a great backup for really all the other 4 positions other than center.
That was a great analogy with the bowling with the offensive line. I had never thought of it like that, but it makes 100% sense.
You know what? It's all about confidence. And if you walk up there with the ability to just throw that ball down the lane without worrying about a gutter ball, you're going to go out there and whip it as hard as you can. And same thing with pass setting. You got those bumpers on each side that can help you out, give you a chip, take away some of the space, take away some of the room. You could be aggressive. And that's the one thing that he does a good job of. He's a really good run blocker. And I think he does a good job when he's got a 3 technique tight to him. He struggles when guys slant and stun around and the linebackers come from depth. He gets nervous and gets kind of on his toes. When you get on your toes, you're going to get knocked over. So that's one of the things that he's going to have to be concerned about.
Melana, check this out.
Yeah, I was just going to ask him. I know that the Chiefs are hungry, and I know they're ready to attack. But do you think they're confident? coming out of that Super Bowl?
Yeah, that's another great question. You know what? I don't know. You know what? I really don't know. One of the things that I know that Andy Reid talked about with his guys when they all reported in the summer is they get their swagger back. They lost a little of their mojo. They did, especially up front. They lost a little mojo. So this is the first time they're going to go on the field that counts after getting really handed to them against the Philadelphia Eagles. The whole team, but especially the offensive line. So the answer to that question is I hope so, because they have a great leader in Patrick Mahomes. But the reality of the situation is they got their asses kicked. And you know what? When you get your ass kicked, you go back out there the next time, you know, you're a little hesitant, you're a little nervous, you're a little worried. But you know what? After a couple plays and a couple series, hopefully they'll be back to where they need to be. But good question.
Thanks.
That's why you hired her. You guys, it wasn't because you know what, she asks the best questions, you guys. I hate to tell you that.
She's
we are
The emotional questions.
She certainly has not. She's added to the image of you guys, but also to the content, which is always a good thing.
Thanks, Tim.
I'm
happy to
total
be here.
backwards. That's how we have to. But Tim, before we get you out of here, we just want to remind everyone, go to timgrunhard.com. Still out there, get View from the Center, Tim Grunhard's book, My Football Life and Rebirth of Chiefs Kingdom. Make sure you go to timgrunhard.com, pick up a copy.
Are there any Dale Carter stories in there?
No. I stayed away from anything negative in the book. Although Dale has turned a new leaf. He's a really he's changed a little bit. We all grow up eventually. So, but I will tell you, if you guys did you look at the cover? Who was the quarterback that was under center there? Can you guys tell me?
I didn't see. I didn't. Oh, that's Rich Gannon.
There you go.
Rich.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
If Rich
was that your favorite one? Was that your favorite quarterback to play for?
Second favorite.
Joe was number one.
I mean, come on, Joe Cool.
Yeah, Notre Dame.
I had his poster on my wall growing up.
Yeah.
My wife had a crush on him. She's a big Notre Dame, so I had to keep her away from him.
Wow.
I was afraid to lose her to Joe Montana. You never know.
He had Jennifer. Tim, you're the best. We got this big game coming up on Friday. The season is upon us, my friend. Thank you so much. Have a great time at the rest of your trip down in Florida. We really appreciate your insight today, my friend.
Anytime, guys. Always great to be on with you guys. And I'm glad I was the first guest.
You are the first
of the regular season.
Thank you so much, Tim.
Hall of Famer. Nobody better than Tim Grunhard. Take care.
The new Arrowhead allies, Melana, Brian, you guys are in the fold. It's been great. People have been kind of blowing up some of the comments. They have questions. They want to, somebody, I think, wanted to know about Melana. Casey Logan, what's been up with you lately? Welcome to the Allies. So what's been up, Melana? Tell us about your life lately for you.
Oh my gosh. Well, I am married. I have an 8.5-year-old now son. He's wonderful. My husband's wonderful. Big sports fan, my husband too. So it's been really fun to kind of bring him into the Chiefs kingdom. He's from New Jersey and we met in Los Angeles. He is probably the Chiefs' #1 fan now, and not just a bandwagon fan, but he really knows the ins and outs. So it's been really fun to watch with him. I do interior design and I'm just so happy to be here with you guys. I think the Chiefs are my first love and I never, stopped loving them. So it's been really fun to watch them, having been involved with the organization for 9 seasons, starting a long time ago when Tim Grunhard was also on the team to now. It's been an amazing evolution. And I think a really God-given gift that Kansas City very much deserves.
And I think you have some signed footballs back there by some special players.
Yeah. Sorry, there was some I'm in a room here that I turned out the lights, but yeah, those are some signed footballs back there. So we've got Tom Brady and Marcus Allen, a couple of footballs. I have a collection of footballs.
And Tom gave you that ball. It's not like you just bought a signed ball. Like Tom Brady gave you the ball.
Yeah, Tom is so shy and so nice, actually. And he
does it have enough air in it?
Not have, yeah, exactly. Deflate gate much. We did deflate it just for the effect. No, he gave me that football. I worked for the Patriots in 2004, 2005. Went to the Super Bowl with them. And that was an incredible experience. I was also working with the Chiefs that same year. So I do have some really cool footballs and never dated a football player, but have some really cool footballs from when I worked for both teams. So
I'm glad you said that because we had like 10
Dating
questions
anyway.
lined up for that. So we don't have to pull those up. You didn't date any. We're good. Those are out the window.
I've had a lot of people like, oh, did you get those footballs? I swear on my life, I did not date any. I've never dated a professional athlete, thankfully. No offense to them, but I just don't think I could have handled the, craziness.
Your
No
husband, though, was-
XFL over here, baby.
That's right. We're good here. Okay, well, Donnie Gibbs wants to ask, where is Shaggy Shane? I'll tell you what, Shaggy Shane has moved on to brighter pastures, but returning, and it just lights me up to even say this. He's got the Arrowhead Allies shirt on. He's my brother from another mother. Yes, he took a shot at me because of the Chiefs' offensive line issues. I, of course, didn't bother to bring up that he predicted Sky Moore to have a 1,000-yard season 2 years ago.
I did do that. I knew you didn't forget that. I'm sorry, Chiefs Kingdom. Can I publicly apologize for that?
You don't have to.
I am
all been
sorry.
down these roads. Brian, everybody eats. We remember 2023 where everybody ate. And this is what everybody ate in 2023. One pea each.
Well, we won a Super Bowl, so
that's also true. Great to have you back, man. Everything been good?
Man, yes. Man, I'm super blessed to be back with you guys. I always love talking ball with everybody that's on Arrowhead Allies. But just same thing, Brian's World, hustle and shine in the morning on Hot 103. Oh, look at that. Oh, look. There it is. We'll drop a new episode on Wednesday. Talking, of course, Chiefs versus Chargers predictions, NFL 2025 predictions. You'll get a little taste of that tonight in Arrowhead Allies. But B Shining's bets, that's on deck. I can't wait for that. Plus a fit check where I dissect select uniforms in the league. Some of my favorite uniforms, some of the ones I don't like. And this week, I'm talking about Jerry Jones and the Cowboys documentary and how, look, I'm going to bury the hatchet coming up this Thanksgiving. This is making me like the Cowboys, y'all. I'm sorry. Y'all know I can't stand those bastards. I hate them. I almost hate the Cowboys more than the Chargers. Because, the Chargers are like our little stepbrother. We hate the Raiders. We hate the Broncos. But the Chargers okay, we'll beat them. They might beat us every once and again. But, I hate the Cowboys. That's slowly changing with this documentary. I have a lot of thoughts about that in a jam-packed Brian's World, but I'm so blessed to be here on Arrowhead Allies, though.
It's funny. My hatred for the Cowboys has gotten worse after watching the documentary. So yes, hey.
Really? So you didn't find Jerry Jones charming at all?
Yeah, I do. He was great in Landman, and if you've seen the show with Billy Bob Thornton, he had a great cameo in Landman. He was actually really good in it. I mean that he was. And Jerry's man, just an Arkansas oil tycoon that wanted to buy the Cowboys and turn them into a dynasty. And just luckily, the last time that was actually the case, I was about 10 years old, the last Super Bowl they won. So you know what? That's great. They can
10 as well.
It's like the Nebraska Cornhuskers.
Mighty old.
Oh, like it's perfect.
I've opened up a spot in my heart for the Cowboys this season. We all know my love for and affinity for Marty Schottenheimer. Now Brian Schottenheimer's head coach. So like Brian said in predictions, you'll see a little bit of that. I didn't go too overboard, but you'll see how much I love the Cowboys moving forward here and how much I'm hoping we play them in the Super Bowl. Do I predict it? We'll see. But Melana, I don't know if you want to go into this. We're going to kind of start the topics here and throw it up as we've got some bad news ahead of us.
Oh, man, I'll say Rashee Rice, 6-game suspension. Do you guys feel like this is a good idea that he misses the first 6 games? Or should he have picked maybe the latter 6?
Well, it all happened so fast. We thought he was going to be available for the first 4, and they were going to meet on September 30th. The NFL comes down with this 6-game suspension to start the season, and I think it's good to get this out of the way. Try to get your legs under you with this tough schedule that it's going to be to start with. You're talking about going to Brazil to play the Chargers. It's Sao Paulo, by the way, Tim Grunhard. I'm a where in the world is Carmen Sandiego fan, so I'm a geography guy. Travis Kelce and Tim Grunhard, maybe not so much. But to start that, and then you got the Eagles, and you got, Hollywood Brown with Xavier Worthy, with Juju probably stepping up into that role. And so I think this is the right move. I think this is probably the best case scenario for the Chiefs. If there is one, you hate to see this happen, but you want to get this behind you, Brian. Bichon, we got to get this behind us and in the rear view.
Yeah, 100%, man. Get it out the way. And then I think of it like this. You'll get an acquisition week 7. You'll get an extra piece.
Right.
And I think that this is the best time to where if you have to lose Rashee Rice, this is it, man. You want it at the beginning of the season because generally I think the Chiefs, they come out smoking. Like September, I believe, is Patrick Mahomes' best month when he's playing ball. So and we've seen that over the past 8-9 years or so since he's been the starting quarterback. Get it now, get it done, get it over with. They'll be better off rather later on in the season as things heat up for the playoffs.
Yeah, it just kind of stinks that Jalen Royals is also going to be out. Potentially, they think it's not going to be looking good for him with the knee tendonitis, and he's not going to be there as well. So you're missing Rashee, you're missing Jalen Royals. A lot of guys are going to have to step up, and that's kind of moves us to our next one where we've got these 6 guys, but
and that's still a great receiving core. Still a great core right there.
I mean, I don't know about great.
Oh, well, okay, not great, but pretty good. Like I guess I'm just so used to the 23-24 batch of wide receivers that we had. Like we didn't even have Hollywood Brown at all last year. I just think that I have so much confidence in Patrick and him having, if he has time, that receiving core. I don't think, of course, you want Rashee Rice out there, but I don't think they'll miss a beat. I really don't.
Yeah, Melana, do you think, like, I know there's been a lot of talk of Patrick Mahomes saying we want to push the ball down the field, get it into tighter windows. I've got welcome to Arrowhead Stadium because they want to get back to that high-flying offense. That's where Mahomes is most natural. He's not a guy that wants to dink and dunk the ball. Do you think they can get back to that, especially with Rashee out these first 6 weeks?
Are you asking me? Sorry.
Yeah.
I do. I think they can. I think Patrick Mahomes is ready. I think that he's probably worked harder than ever in this offseason. And I know Bob Stroop, his trainer, has probably kicked his butt in his offseason ways.
That.
If he hadn't tried it, I guess they've been together since he was 9. Patrick Mahomes was 9. And I feel like if Bobby hasn't tried it, he tried it now up until this point. He's definitely tried it this offseason. And Patrick Mahomes is ready.
They keep using the word fun, guys. They're going to have some fun out there. That leads me to believe that last year wasn't a lot of fun, despite going 15-1, 15-2, and winning a lot of games by close margins. And really, the offense was not operating at a high level for much of the season. So you saw that in the preseason game against the Bears. Melana, you talked about it. I think that Bobby Stroop, and we know Mr. Stroop has been kind of laying it down there. I need to go work out with him, by the way. That'd take me.
I know.
I'd be ready after that, but I'm ready for some fun. Let's have some fun this year, everybody. Even if that means the record isn't as good. Maybe you're not 15-1, 15-2, but we'll get to the record predictions here in a little bit, but maybe you win a few less games.
As long as you can get back to that high flying, because Mahomes said he didn't feel himself. He's not the Alex Smith dink and dunk, take what the defense gives you kind of quarterback, but that's just kind of how it played out with the way that they trusted in their defense. They didn't have the weapons due to injuries last year. Before that, just lack of talent. Last year, they had the talent going into the season until Hollywood goes down, then Rashee goes down, and Pacheco goes down, and you're just missing a lot of key components. The offensive line is a weak spot for him, so he doesn't have time to create things and allow things to develop. And so Andy Reid can come up with schemes, but if you're getting hit in 1 second, the scheme goes out the window. So hopefully they can figure things out with those injuries, and the Chargers can't figure out their injury problem. Melana, I don't know if you want to take this as the Chargers again with the injury gods.
Injury god. I mean, God bless, really. What do you guys think? Brian, what do you think?
Yeah. Oh, I feel bad for the Chargers. I don't like injuries. I think it's the worst part of sports, but it's the price of the game that we love. It's the price of doing business. And look, nobody held any apologies for us when our guys went out last year. Everybody, matter of fact, I saw people laughing in our face when Rashee Rice went down, when Hollywood Brown went out, and we still made it to the Super Bowl. So it is what it is. I hate injuries. I hate that for the Chargers, but like, someone must step up for us, and how they stepped up last year, somebody must step up for them. And with that being said, attack. Not necessarily the left tackle, because that's where Joe Alt is going to be. Attack the other side. Attack the right side. And with Chris Jones and how you can move pieces around and how Spags is creative, I would look for the Chiefs to attack the right side of that Chargers offensive line for sure.
It's horrible.
Absolutely. And Clint, I don't know if you want to take this. 3 of their first 6 games, Lions, Ravens, Jags, were last in the league in pass defense. They haven't done a ton to upgrade. I know the Ravens went and got the Packers, Jair Alexander. So they're looking to beef up their secondary, but the Lions are still kind of struggling back there. The Jags, we're not sure what they're going to have. So that could help in this, even though we're down some receivers.
100%. And the Chargers, notwithstanding, because that a very stout defense, they were ranked first in the league last year. So you're going to have a tough time, and points may be hard to come by down in Sao Paulo, Brazil, which is pretty darn close to the equator. I don't understand how it's winter there ever, Melana. You've been all over the world. How is it winter in Sao Paulo, Brazil right now when it's like on the equator? It can't be like winter temperatures. Like, I'm so confused about this.
I think we're going to have to go back and study that a little bit more.
Yeah.
Or ask like a meteorologist or something, or someone that understands more about how the weather works. I would say that, when I went to Australia, I think it was like winter in April, and what's summer for us is winter for them. So I had to go to Woolworths and buy a giant sweater because I thought, it's summer all the time in, June, July, and August.
Throwback right there, Woolworths. Okay, I see you.
It was a long time ago. But can somebody tell Rashee Rice that if he's going to outrun anything, it should be somebody on the field and not the police,
Well, it was a bit of a high-speed situation, and we're just hoping that Rashee's grown. Insert your cliche here for Rashee Rice, growing as a young man, as a person.
We can't control the injury, God, but we can control the decisions, right?
That's what you'd like to think. We're all like in our 40s plus now. We're all in the Brian, who just recently joined, by the way, the 40s club. Welcome. We're all
glad to be here.
We can say these things, because we're all like in the good decision portion of our lives.
Oh yeah, are we? Okay.
Yeah.
Not Noah.
Anyway, moving on.
Wait. What kind of decision did Noah make what happened?
Oh.
No, we're moving on. We don't need to get into my poor decisions.
Moving on now.
I'm just a single man living my life, but these men are not single living their lives. Andy Reid, Sean Payton, Jim Harbaugh, and Pete Carroll, welcome to the party. Melana, do you want to talk about these coaches in the AFC West and just how great and storied they are?
They are very storied, and I would just like to start with Andy Reid. I think there is no other coach, probably maybe in the history of the NFL, that is more humble, more hardworking, and more dedicated to really what he does. I think he builds his players and the character of his players first, and then he gets into the game. And I think that that's why this team has been so incredibly successful in the last 5 years.
And the record against that AFC West, that vaunted AFC West, is prodigious. I believe it's 31-7 since in the Patrick Mahomes era, if I'm not mistaken. And everyone wants to talk every year about, the AFC West has improved, and look out, Kansas City. This is the year. It's the Chargers. It's the Broncos. We don't care. It's Kansas City's time is done. Yeah. Interestingly, the Chiefs won the division by 4 games last year, and it should have been 5 if the Chiefs play their starters against the Broncos. But I do think it's better. Melana, you really hit on it right there when you talk about Andy Reid, because there's other coaches, as good as they are, they pale in comparison. Let's be honest. Sean Payton won a Super Bowl. Congratulations for doing that in New Orleans, no question. But that was in 2008. Pete Carroll, hasn't had the Seahawks in a Super Bowl that was last in 2014, where he tried to throw the ball into the end zone to win the game against the Patriots instead of running with beast mode up the middle. So, and Jim Harbaugh's back in the fold, won a national title at Michigan. I think it's better. I don't think it's better enough. And I think it's actually a little overrated. And I think only 2 teams are going to make. I don't think this is going to be a 3-team AFC West playoffs. And that's just me. I know a lot of people disagree.
Look, man.
You put Denver in there.
I was thinking earlier when we were talking about this a little bit with Tim Grunhard, just where has there been an assembly of this many coaches with these resumes in one division? The closest thing that I can think of is the late 80s, mid to late 80s NFC East, when you had Parcells, Landry, not sure who the Eagles coach was.
Was
Kotite? No. Wasn't Buddy Ryan.
Landry was still there. I would say Buddy Ryan was there.
Joe Gibbs with Washington.
Joe Gibbs, for sure, yeah.
I like this.
That's good.
Look, man. It's going to be close this year. I wouldn't be surprised if the team with the best divisional record wins, of course, the division, but that isn't always the case sometimes. I think everybody could go 3-3 in the division. And if the Chiefs somehow get to 4-2, I think that could possibly win them the division, give us the leg up. But man, it's going to be tough goings because you look at all these coaches and the rebuilding process that they've done in previous years with previous teams. Pete Carroll's done it with the Jets, Patriots. Not sure if it was that successful with the Jets, but it was successful with the Patriots, took them to the Super Bowl and they lost. He did it with the Seahawks. You look at Jim Harbaugh, he's done it with the 49ers and with Michigan, who at the time, Michigan was terrible. At the time when he got there, he had to scrape them up off the ground and get them to where they were. And then you look at Sean Payton.
USC.
Pete Carroll was at USC.
I forgot about USC. I wasn't even thinking about it. Thank you guys for that. So man, look, it's the history that they have with rebuilding other programs and other football teams that not has me shook, but I'm aware. Like we can't it's the Broncos, it's the Raiders. No, we have to take these guys seriously, like they're Buffalo, like they're Baltimore, because I think look, man, all 4 teams in the West could go to the playoffs. Because I think the Raiders are going to be a serious problem that nobody's talking about. Am I predicting that? I don't know. We'll find out in a few right here on Arrowhead.
Close to that time.
It is getting close to that time, but Melana, we've got some naysayers. First of all, they're always there, but these two we felt were loud.
Yeah, guys. I mean, what do we say about the naysayers? There's people who love the Chiefs. There's people who hate the Chiefs. Chris Brockman, Damian Woody. I don't know.
It's what we live with every offseason. It's part of what fuels us as an organization now. And whereas we have had some naysayers, we've also had a soothsayer, if you will, a purveyor of good. And I'm talking about Tommy Norris from Landman. You might know him as Billy Bob Thornton. He joined us just last week to heap a little praise onto the Chiefs. So whereas we dealt with those naysayers, let's see what Billy Bob Thornton thinks about, is this dynasty dead here in Kansas City? You follow this, you know Mahomes, you know Kelsey, you know Taylor Swift's up in here. Is the Chiefs dynasty over? Or are we just done? Is it, or are we still got more to go here?
You know, I think with guys like that, with Mahomes and Kelsey and those guys, you can't ever count them out. I mean, I thought last season maybe, I thought, you never know. And then they would be down a couple of touchdowns, and Mahomes literally will do something like, Kreskin or one of those magicians or, spoon benders, or the kind of, he does something insane. And the next thing you know, it looks like they won the game easily. And so I don't think you can ever count them out.
There you go.
Was he trying to sell you a Verizon phone or something?
Well, that's right. He was. He's his band, the Boxmasters, will be here on September 20th, and go hit him up. He sells them out of the back of his van.
Oh, he has a band?
The Boxmasters are in the house, sold out at Knuckleheads. That's the deal, man. Billy Bob Thornton and his guy JD Andrew there. They are the real deal. Very good, just like 60s inspired, straight ahead little rock band. They're very good.
I gotta ask him about Halle Berry. Monsters Ball for those that know.
I have so much I want to ask him about, but I'm always just leery of that. God, Allie Larder is his wife and Landman. Allie Larder, come on, Melana. Like you go back to your era, like Amy.
I'm only.
I'm talking about like the Varsity Blues comes out in '99, right? Like that movie comes out, and like Allie Larder, Amy Smart. Like, does it get any more peak like '90s than that?
I will say. I mean, all you need is sprinkle in a little Jennifer Love Hewitt in there.
Oh,
right. So
love it. See,
hey, before we move on quickly,
Brian and Halle Berry for Brian.
And have you guys seen Blood In, Blood Out? Have you seen that movie?
I love that movie.
He's in that movie too, Billy. But did you guys ask him about that? You did? You asked him about it?
Noah, how did you not ask him that? It's your favorite movie.
It is. I
It's
thought
one of
we could
my
ask him, like,
favorites
one
too.
thing. I love
Yeah,
it. It's long, but it's good. It's worth it. So.
wow.
But
I
are
don't
we
know.
missing? Or go ahead, Noah. Sorry.
Oh no, I'm good. Like,
Are we missing the point that he and Angelina used to wear their
Yes.
vials of blood? Was he wearing Angelina's vial of blood when you talked to him?
Excuse me?
That was real. That was it's like instead of wedding rings, Melana, we like to get creative sometimes, right? Either get a tattoo on the knuckle or a vial of blood, okay?
Wasn't that
Either or.
Angelina and Billy Bob? Do I need to fact check? That was them, right?
It was him. It was him and Angelina Jolie. That really happened. But
we also have a Chargers fan in chat. He says we have a lit show, but he's talking about,
oh, I get it.
Justin
It was sort of an
Herbert
entendre,
here.
play on words.
Turbo's better babe with that beer chick, and so
I don't understand
Chargers
what.
dropping in. So,
Well, thank you. I don't know what that means. I don't know what those words mean.
I know Justin Herbert was seen with somebody recently. Maybe she's in a beer commercial. I don't know. I didn't look into. I'm not into the celebrity relationship world.
Oh, I am right here in Kansas City. Anyway, maybe that one.
That one specifically, yes, I'm good with that. But others like Justin Herbert, I don't take the Chargers seriously. I know Brian says I should, but I don't, so I can't. Look into it. Maybe he'll prove me wrong, but
we don't have any big celebrity relationships in Kansas City.
None that I can think of. So, but it's time for predictions. And Melana, I know you kind of are giving us your Chiefs side of predictions, and so I've got your graphic made up here. Take us through what you were thinking.
14-3, guys. I don't know. Week 4, we've got the Ravens, and that kind of scares me a little bit. Is anybody thinking along those same lines where the might not be able to pull that one out?
It's a good team.
It's a good team.
And you got to lose to the Bills.
I just think traditionally the Chiefs have all, and that was on my radar too. But the Chiefs know how to handle. No, they know how to handle the Ravens and Lamar Jackson. They have always traditionally done a great job against him. The only loss I remember was from 2022 with Clyde fumble, or was that 21?
20.
Oh, it was 20. Okay, well, it was 20 when Clyde fumbled, and they won by 1 point. So that was the Spags knows how to handle Lamar Jackson. So
but I like the record here. 14-3 with those losses. The losses it's hard to predict those. And then we got Patrick Mahomes as the NFL most valuable player, a return to 2022. Melana, could it be?
I don't know. I'm gonna have to think about that one. I don't know. Sorry, I was reading something down here because I got caught up on the toe game, guys. I made my notes down here, and I was just thinking about the toe game with the Ravens, and I was thinking that everybody is going to have to get white shoes.
Right. Make sure that's not an issue.
Yeah.
They're coming out with the white shoes.
Chiefs-Eagles rematch for Melana. Chiefs-Eagles rematch in the Super Bowl.
Definitely.
I don't want it.
You don't want it?
I don't know. I want that.
No, it's like, it didn't work last time. Let's not try to repeat that. No, are you okay?
He's going to be
thinking about it, I think.
I want Brian's. I want to see Brian's right here. I want to see this.
Lay it out, baby. All right. So yeah, I think the 1 seeds are Chiefs and Rams. I really believe in the Rams being a legit Super Bowl contender. And I think that their schedule matches up well. I have the Buccaneers as a 2 seed, and I think their schedule is cake. It's easy. I'm telling you, go look at it. And then Baker Mayfield is going to have a very good year as the Buccaneers, again, with another explosive offensive performance. Packers, I just moved them up to that 3 seed right there because of the Micah Parsons trade. Otherwise, they would have been my 7 seed, and I would have had the Vikings as I think I've had the Vikings as a number 4 seed. San Francisco is a wild card for me, as well as Washington and Minnesota. I think people really discount Minnesota and what their coach Kevin O'Connell can do with J.J. McCarthy, man. I think the AFC, I think the only thing that people are going to disagree with me in the AFC is that Jaguars pick. I really believe in Travis Hunter. I really do. And I think that Trevor Lawrence, I think that he's going to have a bounce back season with a very good offensive minded coach who I think is going to be the coach of the year in the NFL. And I have Travis Hunter being the offensive rookie of the year. I have Jared Verse being a defensive player of the year. Jamar Chase, he's going to catch a ton of touchdowns and a lot of garbage time points. These Bengals this year are going to remind everyone of the 2002 Chiefs. Go look them up if you haven't.
8-8.
But I have Jamar Chase being the offensive player of the year. Abdul Carter, my offensive or my defensive rookie of the year. Chiefs Rams in the Super Bowl that everybody's been waiting on. Of course, with the Chiefs winning it, and Patrick Mahomes will have another MVP season based on what he did in 2022. I think we're going to see a similar season from Patrick Mahomes this year.
Noah, this is you.
Well, yeah, I've got 14-3. I was going to have us lose that last game to the Raiders because we've got everything sewn up, but it's Gardner Minshew revenge game, and he's going to win it for us, even though the backups will be in there.
I like that.
So I've got it losses to the Eagles, the Lions, because I don't think Mahomes has ever beat Jared Goff, and that's Jared Goff. So until he can prove to me otherwise, I got the Lions. I think they're explosive as well. With the Jamison Williams and Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jahmyr Gibbs, Laporta. I just think it prevents a lot of issues. I'm a little unsure about our secondary. I don't know how Jaden Hicks is going to work out. I'm not the biggest Brian Cooks fan. Jalen Watson was doing really well at the beginning of last year, but once he came back from that injury, we saw he kind of got burnt in the Super Bowl. Hasn't had a strong training camp preseason, so I'm a little iffy on where the secondary is going to line up for me. And then obviously our yearly lose to the Bills in the regular season. Playoff wise, it's pretty standard, other than I've got the Bengals, and Brian said they're not making the playoffs. It's going to remind you of 2002. Mike Pennell says, question my Bengals pick, do you?
That's crazy.
I don't think so. Mike Pennell.
Why would he do that? Why would he do that?
Sorry, Mike.
He's mad. He's mad that the Chiefs let him go, so he's going to go sign. It's like Neil Smith going to the Broncos.
Now, and I think another thing that we have a difference is that, and I completely understand why you have Detroit where they are. I just think Detroit is going to take a major step back. I really do. Too many losses of too many coaches, especially with the brains of your offense leaving. I think guys are going to start playing for themselves a little bit. I just think that Detroit got a little. I think they're a good team. I just don't think they're the best team. And I think Minnesota can beat them, and I think Green Bay can beat them.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm with you. I'm not a big JJ McCarthy guy. I'll have to see how that kind of transforms with Minnesota and plays out. But I do have the Bucks winning. I've got the Packers, the Commanders. And then there's my Cowboys love. I have them as the 7th seed instead of the Niners. Any team that's relying on DeMarcus Robinson, MVS, and Sky Moore and doesn't have Patrick Mahomes at quarterback, you're not making the playoffs. I'm sorry, Niners. Best of luck to you. I gave you a defensive rookie of the year, as you see down there, in Michael Williams out of Georgia. Offensive rookie of the year, I've got Ted McMillan. I think I'm a believer in this Bryce Young resurgence.
Everybody's high on him. On McMillan.
Yeah, I like McMillan. I think they're going to rely on him a ton over Xavier Legette, who they drafted last year. Micah Parsons is going to be my defensive player of the year. I think he's going to lead the league in sacks over there. In the Cowboys, they're playing weird defense. They had him dropping into coverage a lot, coming back and playing linebacker. It's weird. I think the Packers are just going to say, see quarterback, get quarterback. Derrick Henry, my offensive player of the year. Patrick Mahomes, MVP. And like Brian, I've got Chiefs, Rams, Super Bowl.
Wow.
So the Chiefs, I guess, we're all 4-0 Chiefs in the Super Bowl. I guess that's what we've done here in Kansas City. Is it just becomes the expectation? It becomes the norm. But I have the Chiefs going 12-5, guys. You guys all have gaudier records. The Chiefs are going 12-5. This schedule is brutal. The schedule is real, and it's all over the map. And they are going to lose a game to the Chargers. They are going to lose a game to the Broncos. Those are straight up. I'm not going to say which game that is because they play the Chargers in just a few days. Eagles, of course, the Bills. That's a given. And the Lions are going to come in here, as Noah said, Mahomes winless against Jared Goff.
The Steelers?
The Aaron Rodgers-led Steelers, a team that's never been under 500 in Mike Tomlin's career.
So you think the AFC North is going to have 3 teams, but you don't think the AFC West could have 3 teams?
The Denver Broncos have made the playoffs once since 2015, and so we're just going to throw them in there every year. Mike Tomlin's one of the best coaches in the league with a team over 500 every year. The defense is legit. TJ Watt has, signed his deal, and I love that. And I still think it's kind of chalk, and the rest of the AFC division winners are what I had last year. And we'll see the Bengals in that wild card spot. I don't like to talk in depth about the NFC as much, but kind of similar to what a lot of people have. I've got Rams, Lions, Eagles, Bucks winning those divisions. And the wild card, my big team to watch, the Bears. The Chicago Bears are going to be in the playoffs as a wild card this year. Caleb Williams, and they got our guy Luther Burden out of Mizzou, and Ben Johnson's going to be my coach of the year because leading the Bears to their first playoff appearance in quite some time. And my MVP is Josh Allen. They're going to have a gaudy record. The stats are going to be there. It's what all the media salivates over it. Ashton Genty, my rookie of the year, offensive rookie of the year. Abdul Carter. It's hard to predict that. And Aiden Hutchins, my defensive player of the year with Jamar Chase as my offensive player of the year. Super Bowl Chiefs, Lions in Santa Clara, Santa Cruz, Sacramento. It's a weird one, Melana. You live in California. You're gonna have to set us straight on this whole where the Super Bowl is thing.
Where is the Super Bowl?
Santa Clara, so it's in between San Francisco and San Jose, or it's in that weird.
That's what I'm saying. Where is Santa Clara? I lived in Los Angeles.
Those are two different worlds.
California that
we could just say it's in the Bay Area.
It's in the Bay Area.
There we go.
We'll find it.
San Francisco, and then there's Los Angeles and San Diego to the people who, really haven't been to California. I live there. I like San Francisco. I love LA.
There you go. We got it.
Proud of you guys. I had no idea this is how it was done. So you put up my graphic, Noah, and I was like, and I was reading my notes, and then I was like, oh, this is how you do it. I love this.
This operation is high end. You know what? He's got a trigger finger and he's ready to roll always, Melana. Always know he's ready.
And it's go time.
I needed more coffee for this deal. You guys are incredible. Loved it.
Thank you.
We think you are.
Oh, thanks. I have some work to do.
No, it was great. We got a game on Friday, guys. This is it.
Agrees with Clint and me, though. So Bengals defense sucks too bad to make the playoffs. It's fair, but
I like that. I'd be good with that. I just, it's hard to start finding teams when I start kicking out the Broncos or, another AFC West team. We got to find one.
I'd rather you put the Jets in than the Bengals.
Well, that's insane. But
we want your wife to be happy. Happy wife, happy life, Brian. Your wife is a Bengals fan,
she don't give a damn either way, to be honest.
Oh, then I'm taking him out. I revised my picks. That was just for your wife.
I just revised Sao Paulo, where the Chiefs play on Friday night, guys, 1,600 miles south of the equator. So I have just made a horrendous error, worse than Tim Grunhard's or Travis Kelce's, apparently earlier in the week. So, oops.
Clint, not great with geography there. So.
I thought I was. I used to want to be on Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego. I tried out.
Yeah, it wouldn't have worked out. So.
We got a game.
The last thing I'm going to do here is predictions for the game because it comes quickly here. It comes Friday. Eagles and Cowboys kick us off Thursday night, and then it'll be in Brazil, Sao Paulo, Brazil. For those of you geography fiends, it is Chiefs, Chargers without Rashawn Slater, without Rashee Rice, both missing huge parts. And Melana, do you want to start us off? Your prediction? I know you got a close one for the Chiefs.
I do, and I think the Chiefs are going to pull it out. So I think Patrick Mahomes is ready. I know the Chargers are nasty, but I think who do we have? Let's see, Josh Simmons. I think we needed him. He's going to be a good guy for us this year.
Absolutely.
I got
know
the Chiefs winning
28-24.
Yeah. Oh, I did send you that. That's right. Sorry about that.
Okay. Chiefs winning, of course. I think this offense is going to explode. And you're going to hear me talk about this all season long. My expectations are going to be high for these guys, and I'm not going to hold back. There's not going to be many excuses. If they don't perform well, I'm going to critique them. So I'm expecting fireworks. I believe in Patrick Mahomes. I believe in the offensive strategy that we've been working on since the Super Bowl. I'm looking at 34-16 Chiefs get a win. It's going to be a big win. It's a statement that's going to be made.
That's a big win.
That would just put my little heart at ease, Brian, because I'm scared, okay? For the first time in my life, I'm afraid. When we play the Chargers, these games are right to the wire. And where were you guys on September 21st, 2021? I asked that because that's the last time the Chiefs lost to the Chargers, and it's not going to start now. Later in the season, I do have us losing to the Chargers at home. We're going to go to Brazil. This should be a Chargers home game, but it is in Brazil. The Chiefs are seasoned. They're organizationally so sound to be ready for a game like this. There is no better team to go down there and take care of business than the Chiefs. I think it's going to be lower scoring, something like 23-20. Chiefs win this one with a Harrison Butker walk-off. No doink for the division. This one's going right down the middle, baby. Chiefs get to 1-0, and they're going to need it because that nasty bunch of Eagles are coming in next week. But 1-0. Season's on the line. Let's go. We're up.
I think it's going to be a long day for the Chargers with Trey Pipkin stepping in at right tackle, trying to block a Chris Jones, George Karlaftis, stunts, bringing a corner off the edge, confused as to where he should be. Should he kick out? Should he take the closest man? And I think we're going to get some free hits on Justin Herbert with that. And over on Instagram, ThunderDan88 said Chiefs win 42-21. Come on, 40 burger in week 1. I've got it 31-23 with the Chiefs victory. It's 8 points. I think they're going to have a good showing, but the defense, I'm a little worried about the secondary. Like I said, I'm a little worried about Brian Cook, about Jaden Hicks, Jamari Connor. What's the safety room going to look like? So I think they are maybe going to get some big plays. I know they drafted Trey Harris out of Ole Miss, and Keenan Allen's back, an old friend, and Lad McConkey is a big weapon for them on offense. So Marion Hampton I liked out of North Carolina. So they present a lot of issues for us on defense, but I think we're going to have enough. I think we're going to see enough, even without Rashee Rice, that Tyquan Thornton's going to make some plays downfield. Hollywood Brown, Xavier Worthy. We know what Kelsey does. I think we're going to see a resurgence out of him. I predict a 100-yard game out of Kelsey in Brazil. So we will see what it looks like. 31-23. I got the Chiefs taking it down. We all have them going 1-0 until the Eagles game, which we'll predict next week and see what we got there.
Well, did you guys enjoy it? Did you guys have fun? According to all the comments, you darn well did. Thanks for joining us. So many of you in the chat, so many of you joining us live here. The Genesis, the relaunch, the reboot. It's better than the original. Melana, you were so great to be here, and I'm so thankful to have you aboard, and Brian Bishonen back in the fold. Guys, you wanna try this again next week after a Chiefs win and preview Chiefs and Eagles and try to get this thing to 2-0 next week? Can we do that?
We can do
You
it.
know it.
Absolutely. Until next time, this has been Arrowhead Allies, and as always, go
Chiefs.